In today's video, we're going to talk about your very first deal. Let's dive right in. I'm going to go ahead and assume that if you've liked and subscribed to the channel, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, that you're following me for a particular reason. And I think that is because my business model or something about how we do things is appealing to you. So I want to talk about your first deal. Ultimately, my goal isn't that you just consume the content, but that you pull actionable tips out of this that you then implement to change your own life, your own family's future, become an investor, quit your job, travel the world, whatever it is that inspires you. It's one of the reasons in our case studies we break stuff down so much. Like, here's the mailing list, this was the mail piece, this is the list and where we put it, or this was the list and what we sent them. My goal is that you take that, copy it, and deploy it in your own market and just see what happens. Now, I realize that you've got probably like some you issues that you've got to get figured out before you feel confident enough to do that. So I think the best way to do this is to just like totally level with you and talk to you about my first deal where I did absolutely everything wrong. So this particular property came off of yellow letters, was a absentee owned 35 to 100% equity in a suburb of St. Louis. The city's called St. Charles. Lady got the yellow letter, called in. I had a business partner at the time. We let the call go to voicemail. Taking it back a step further, I didn't have the money to pay for my half of the marketing campaign, so I put it on a credit card, right? So probably not the smartest there. One that I didn't know how I would pay off. Lady called in, we went out, walked the property, didn't really know how to figure out what this thing was worth, and it was also a super unique property. So it was built in 3 or 4 sections that literally started like dirt floor lean-to a property with like a cinder block foundation, but the flooring had caved in. And then that was attached to something built in like the mid 2000s that had like poured foundation and had a nice little like 2-bedroom, 1-bath condo. But it was kind of this weird chain of a house. It was actually unincorporated. It was out of the city. It was on a gravel driveway, on a well, septic, all kinds of stuff that I didn't understand. So what we did, we went and ran comps, which I'll show you how we do that in a different video. And we were just super, super conservative with what we thought it was worth. Met the lady a few days later at a Starbucks, and we were like, hey, so this is what we can do, right? There was no like negotiation, like prowess or like suave. This was totally just like, this is kind of where we're at. Does that work for you? And she said, yes. And we were like, well, crap. Okay, what do we do now, right? So we had to go out and find a buyer. And again, you're not going to do everything perfect. You're going to do things wrong on your first deal. It's going to be messy. So we threw it on Zillow and Craigslist as a for sale by owner. We didn't have any of the unique tools or stuff that we have access to today. And it was kind of like, we'll see if someone comes. We did like showings of the property, like we were realtors or something, or like we owned it. Yeah, go ahead and poke through, let me know if you have any questions. So we had a couple come through on one of our open houses. Again, not the ideal way to do this. Who they were like, yeah, okay, do you have any other offers? And we were like, no, but we've got some other people who are, interested that are coming back for like a second viewing. And they were like, well, we'll take it. Now this is where it was like the blind leading the blind, right? So they were like, we've never bought an investment property before. How does this work? And we were like, that's a great question. We'll figure that out, right? We weren't gonna admit that we've never sold an investment property either. So they gave us a $1,000 check that I think was drafted to me personally to secure the property. We ended up figuring out, okay, we need a contract, so we got everything done up. We then had to find a title company that could kind of put this thing together. And then it was like a bunch of hoops, utilities, who's paying this, who's paying that. ultimately resulted in us getting right at like a $10,000 check. It was 10,000 bucks and some change. I wish I still had it. Pro tip, when you do your first deal, frame your first check. Just kind of, would look good up on the wall, right? So lesson number one, it's going to be messy. You're not going to do everything right. You're going to make mistakes. Looking back on this deal, there's like 100 things that I would now do differently, but we did the best we could at the time. So it's really kind of almost like a fail forward piece. Lesson number two, you're not going to have all of the answers on your first deal or even on every deal. We run into situations still where it's like, that's a great question that I don't know the answer to. Let me figure that out, right? Admit you don't know the answer and that you'll go find it. They're gonna respect that a lot more than you trying to BS your way through it and you end up telling them something that makes no sense. So just be transparent, be authentic. I've actually never been asked that before. Let me get you the answer, right? But don't let that hold you back. I would way rather be in a position where somebody's asking me questions I don't know the answer to so I can go learn than never put myself in kind of that place of not knowing. The third thing I want to point out is that you are not alone in any of this. So as you have questions, guys, that's what I am here for. It's the reason that I am on YouTube is to give back. There weren't really resources like this when I started out. Now, Bigger Pockets helped me a ton. You want to see the king of dumb questions? Go onto biggerpockets.com, search my name and read my oldest posts. There's literally stuff like, I got a deal under contract, now what? Buyer gave me earnest money. What do I do with it? Can I cash this check? All the way down to so how does a title company work? Do they handle the contracts? Do I handle the contracts? When do I get paid? Where does the money come from the seller? The only dumb question is the question that you don't ask. We had 30 some odd real estate investors schedule calls with my staff this week. I've talked to people that are like, yeah, I've been studying and reading for, years and I'm just, still finding out some details before I get started. Guys, I read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I found Bigger Pockets. Within about a month or two, I did my first direct mail campaign and was in living rooms, meeting with sellers, making an absolute fool of myself, but I was out there doing it. Now, I wouldn't be I'm in the Bay Area and I'm gonna do my first deal next week. Let's try to make this something realistic that's also gonna hold you accountable. Do 30, 60, 90 days, but put some sort of a timeline on this that you've put this out there and that really then, are you gonna show up in integrity or are you gonna just try to pretend that you didn't publish this? In closing, if you haven't already, comment below what market you're in and that this is something you're interested in figuring out. Feel free to drop your niche. Are you interested in wholesaling or flipping or buying rental properties or apartments, whatever it is. That way you kind of have almost this internal pressure of okay, you've told people, you've admitted that you now want to do this, but that's gonna motivate you and hold you accountable to start to ask some of those questions, to start to fill in some of those gaps you have. This is a really, really fun industry to be a part of. I absolutely love the people, the relationships, and I'm not gonna lie, the profits that we make in it. I truly can't see myself doing anything else, and I can't wait to have you join me on one of these videos recapping your first deal. Let's go.